Hello again. Would you believe it? Can't see my breath. And we've got our window open here. I don't think I talk a whole lot about these windows. I've given them a brief mention. These are the acrylic windows. New Camp uses them. Escape now uses them. I think even Casita now has an option, if I'm not mistaken. Also Lance. I saw a few Lance trailers with them. Big fan. Big fan. They are a little bit more prone to scratching, so you just want to be careful with that, but apparently they can be polished out. I've never tried that, but I wouldn't be afraid of it. And I like the way that they open all the way up. They're dual pane insulated. As you can see, nice and warm today. Nice and warm. It was raining earlier, so ground's all wet, but man, it's quiet in the afternoons. But first thing in the morning, starting at about 5:15 this morning, there was a bunch of honking out here. I mean, just honk, 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 honk. And it wasn't a car alarm, it was geese. Or somebody referred to them as cobra chickens. Oh, that's funny. All right, freezing is over for the most part. And what impact has it had? Well, the inside, exactly the same, no issues there. Externally would be really where the problem was. And we did have the propane furnace run for a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, because we only got down to the, I doubt it got below 20 Fahrenheit. Any issues out here, though? No. Nothing I've seen, no cracking, I wouldn't expect any. There, power worked just fine, the regulator's just fine, hose is just fine. It did freeze, I want to say 3 or 4 times. That leak is not new, little dribble, but I'm not going to get in there with pliers and try to tighten that anymore. But no, otherwise we're in pretty good shape. I mean, really it would be something in the water line, and yeah, no issues. Also, after looking around, we're not the only one with a little dribble out of the side of their hose, so that's good. This is the first time, again, in 9 years we've ever had full hookups, and first time staying in an RV park or campground of any sort. That's, you know, we had to pay for it. This is an interesting experience. It's just like living at a regular house for us. A little smaller, but you know, whatever. Hi guys. Hello. Hello guys. Emma is visiting a coworker who's in the hospital right now, and poor lady, she's kind of sort of alone apparently, and she has had some pretty bad inflammation, and so she's going to visit her. What a scary thing to have an oncologist come and visit you. And I know a few of you guys have mentioned in various correspondence that you've also dealt with the big C, so to speak, and what a scary place to be in. So for anybody you know, going through something like that or has gone through, man, I'm with you. Yeah, it's a good reminder not to take your health for granted when you have it. We'll be digging into our battery system. I ordered our battery cables a couple days back, and we got them from batterycablesusa.com, I believe it was, and definitely the best prices. I mean, if you compare to Amazon, for example, for the exact same cables, unless you're buying in bulk, in which case it would be the exact same price, plus you have to add lugs, so actually more still, and you have to do the crimping on your own. These guys have always come through with perfect cables, very fast shipping, no tax, things like that. So yeah, I will be expecting that anytime, and at some point we'll go into a deeper dive on our electrical setup, but I want to just point out I am very happy with our electrical setup. Let me tell you, the way they ran all the wires, the way everything's been performing, we have pulled more than 30 amps out of this system, and it seamlessly, as you would expect, right? It seamlessly switches and will pull from the batteries. So today we will be getting an extra 400 amp hours. So we have 200 amp hours of lithium LifePo 4 batteries. We will add our existing 400, four 100 amp hour batteries. So mixing and matching batteries. You guys do your own research. But the general rule of thumb is that the older the batteries are, they are going to deplete a little bit quicker, right? Because their overall capacity may not be full 100 amp hours. But in general, when you're connecting them up, you want to make sure they're all about the same voltage, which is good. No problems there. We pre-charge them, and they don't really leak or discharge quickly, let's say. So we should be good there. They're all 100 amp hours. So they're all 100 amp hours, 12.8 volts. So nominal voltage is 12.8. If we wouldn't be able to connect, for example, a 48 volt and a 12 volt, that would not work. That would be incompatible. In my opinion, you would not want to connect a 206 amp hour battery and a 100 amp hour battery. In theory, you would just get so much more wear out of the 206 amp hour battery than you would the 100 amp hour battery, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. So it may not be optimal, but you should be able to, because the voltage is really what matters, right? It's the voltage that's equalizing. The capacity in theory would, it would still be compatible. Nothing would explode or catch fire or whatever, but you would want to do some testing in advance, maybe outside of your rig, for example. But yeah, in this case, they're all 100 amp hour, 12.8, the nominal voltage. Yeah, I think we're going to be in good shape. So I don't want to miss the sunset. Ooh, look at those clouds. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Sure is. I want to give a brief overview of what's going on in here. This is all under the dinette, and they did a pretty nice job with the wiring, and there's a couple of components that I think will help to understand for those looking to do something like this. Now, on our own build and on any other build that we've done, when it comes to solar, we don't use Victron components other than the charge controller and maybe the smart shunt. And the reason for it is because, well, if one part goes out, one part goes out. However, if one part goes out in this system, potentially 3 parts go out. So let me explain what I mean. Well, let's take a moment to just appreciate the beautiful wiring job in here. I mean, they just did a fantastic job. Ignore this. That was a blanket just to keep the batteries from rolling around. It actually worked pretty well. And then a little extra moisture remover. See, what they did here was they actually built most of the components, including the charge controller, right onto a board. And then they install it all as one and then connect everything up. But you can see the servo, and all the servo does is basically communicate with that monitor up there. It's not necessary, and considering you can use your phone, I would never have installed this myself, but I will admit it's kind of nice to be able to just glance up and see how much AC is coming in, especially since we're hooked up, versus how much is going out, how much battery is being pulled along with the AC usage. And I'll explain that. So that's all that is. It's just a little monitor. This is the charge controller. So whether we plug in our panels from the little side port there or up on the roof when we're ready for that, all of that is going to come through the 10 gauge wiring and into this. This just makes sure that the batteries, which are under this cover here, make sure that these guys are they don't get too hot because they simply overcharge. The voltage was too high or something like that. That's kind of important, as you can imagine. This guy down here, all that little guy does is simply tell everything else how much power is being drawn out of the batteries. It's a negative connection, so all it's doing is just saying, hey, we're drawing 2 amps for the fridge, or 5 amps for hair straightener, or something, something like that. That's all its entire job is. Apparently Samantha's job is to eat right now. And then down here we have a solar disconnect and then a DC disconnect. So the distribution panel, which is this guy here, be kind of hard to tell, there are fuses in there. Those go to all of the lights. Well, if I go ahead and I break this, you will see all of the lights turn off in here, and then I can reconnect that. And the same thing here, they just drop down, break the connection, or reconnect. So that's all that is. That's pretty easy stuff. But you'll notice that these lights were still on, if you were able to see that. This is the multi-plus. This will take the power from the outside, the 110, 120 power. It'll go ahead and take it and then convert it to 120 volt. And it will also take that same power and route it through to all of the electrical outlets, the AC, all that good stuff. And finally, it's also just an inverter. So it'll take power from these batteries and then turn it from 12 volts to 120 volts for everything to run, and you wouldn't notice the difference. And the coolest thing that this does is it actually splits everything up. So if we want to go ahead and draw, say, more than 30 amps that is provided by the outlet, and you can go ahead and adjust that, by the way, and say, I only want 15 amps. That's a little setting, little knob right up there. It will go ahead and take the 30 amps, but if you need more than that, so I'm running an air fryer and an air conditioner, as long as it doesn't blow a fuse or a breaker, it's not on different circuits, it can go ahead and provide that power. So it'll take the full 30 amps, pass that through, and then pass through power from the batteries, which is really cool. So it combines these power sources, which is like neat. It does it seamlessly, so it kind of feels like, in a way, you have a 50 amp coach for at least for a limited period of time. We're just going to go ahead, and we need to figure out what we want to do about these. This box. I don't love the box. We are going to go ahead and just like see what our opportunities are in there. I might pull these batteries out and then go ahead and see the most efficient way to put this all together. The other thing is, a lot of folks mention having a surge protector. We never bought a surge protector. It's not something that we've needed, mostly because we have always had one built in. Every rig that we've had, or any time that we've needed it, it's had one built in, and you can see that right here. We have the Progressive Industries, it's the EMS, Electrical Management System. So this actually reads out right here when we're connected, and if there's a fault, it will tell us. So if we had an overcurrent or something like that, that's going to protect. And the nice thing is that it's all right there, which is really cool. So this is kind of a high-level overview. We'll go more in depth in another video, but I thought it was a kind of a cool thing. And one thing that I really appreciate is they did a pretty good job with the routing of everything. All the wires, pretty well protected, a lot of zip ties, and yeah, they just do a real nice job. But I think they gave us enough cable that we're gonna be good to do what we need to do in here. Now, if you're new, I have installed quite a few systems, whether they be upgrades to our existing RVs, complete secondary units. So we have a primary set from the manufacturer, and then we have a completely different set to stay off grid. And then we, of course, with our bus, it was just a pretty sizable, I would say, install. And that worked out pretty dang well. So we know, for the most part, this is kind of the nicest setup we've had, but for the most part, we kind of know what to expect. And realistically, it's not that difficult to mess with any of this. There are a few things that you want to do, though, of course. Make sure that all power is disconnected, and maybe don't touch the red to the black. That's a pretty good rule of thumb. Got this guy going, preheating for steaks. If you're curious how much, back away from there, how much power this uses, this is that servo deal, so it's pulling about, yeah, about 1650, I would say is about, well, hold on. Yeah, it's about right. I haven't used any water, so yeah, 1600 watts. It is a little power hungry, so between this guy and the heater, yeah, I can take some power. All right, got the steaks in there. Emma seasoned these, and they're frozen though. I'm gonna add a couple minutes. Yeah, it should be good. A little light in there. Watch those puppies sizzle. It even tells you when to turn it. How cool is that? Ooh, that looks good. Ooh. Oh yeah. Look at that. Looks oddly yellow on the camera, but a little crisp on the edges, and all right, that should be good. How's your steak?
My steak was good. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, pretty good. All right, so we have 12 of these. They're 2-aught cables. That's what they're already using, so that's what we'll continue to use. It should be no problem handling the current rating. So move that out of the way. We've got our toolkit here, and we need to start shutting things down and disconnect power, because essentially, in case you missed the last video, we are going to connect we're going to run the cables out. So we're going to start one end here, so say the positives, or the negatives most likely. We'll start that here, and then the end will be over here. So we've got a plan for that, and I'm going to see about taking out this battery box as well. Let's get into it. Emma's job is going to be to unplug the pigtail out of the pedestal over there, and then I'm going to run all these disconnects and shut this guy off. So for example, I can turn this off here. So that's going to shut off the 120 in theory. So it's just doing pass through right now, more than likely for DC, and then we'll shut all this off and continue just by flashlight. Also shut off this switch here, so that's good. Yeah, everything, you'll see that guy's still flashing down there, and that's just because these are still connected. Yeah, and they're positive wires. Yeah, I think once we get this box out of here, we'll have a lot of room for expansion. Here, can you grab this? Oh, that's not too bad. Get this out of the way temporarily. Move this guy out of here. Get that out of the way. Okay. And then the main positive. Oh. Alright. Whew! Screw that. Perfect. Oh, first try. Get off there, you son of a gun. Well, this was only 15 bucks. Yeah. Get out of there. Son of a bitch. Can you stick those in that bin? They still have good hose clamps. Worst case. Oh, you know what we could do? Is attach it to itself for the time being.
So the cold air is supposed to come out.
Yeah, and I'll come back in here because I don't know if I want to, like how we want to do that. Let's just do that.
It keeps any critters from coming in.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully you guys can see well. Turn this guy over onto itself, because we don't need that ventilation. And I'll tell you what, it's cold in here. That was leaking the air through, even though it had an insulated cover on it. The holes were wide, and so that just didn't matter. It wasn't doing anything. Took that box out. It was 4 screws, and the holes aren't very big. Wherever they're pretty small, so I'm not worried about covering those up. And it's not. Yeah, you can kind of see that in there. So we have a lot more room than I was expecting. We could even, and I'm not going to now, but eventually down the road we could even let me think. Yeah, I think we could do a little move of this. That would give us even more room. We will have 600 amp hours of 12 volt batteries, because that's just what we already had with these Redotos. But eventually I think we can expand pretty well, because we have all this room. So let's continue. Is this how they came out?
I think so.
I think so too. See, we have some extra wire. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, right. Keep everything away from. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna get this blanket out of here too, because we have those L brackets. Yeah, let's get this out of here. That's a nice blanket. Okay, snug that up. Yeah, we need one on the back side. Let's see, 2. Oh yeah, that's, well, is there more? There must be a more efficient way, but I think we determined there wasn't really, right? Because I feel like if we go sideways, we couldn't fit all 4, could we? Could we? 1. If I go this, 2. Oh, even more than I thought. Look at that. 3 for sure. Oh, whoa, these Redotos are smaller than those hub lines. 4. Ooh, I could use, we might not need to go get, you see that? We have more, we could double up. We could go way larger. Oh. All right. Oh man, yeah, we got so much room for activities. If I can get this guy over a little bit more too, just sneak every bit of space out of here. Okay. All right, that's good. Maybe we didn't need to go with, you know, it's better to have slightly too long of cables though, because they can all handle the amperage. Okay. Let's see, that's the RJ line. Yeah, okay. Because if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 1 and then a -6, right? Oh yeah, that'll fit there. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's more than enough. 1, 2, 3, get the big boys. All right. Could go with longer bolts on one of these. I'd like to see this facing that way, I guess, in the future. Can always adjust some of these. Should probably have an insulated strap. Okay. Battery 1, main positive in, goes to that. Then they all snake together, all the reds. It's ugly, I know that, but could have gone with slightly smaller cables on the red, but the black would, that black over here, the negative rather, almost isn't enough. So almost, that one cable right there, almost not enough. And they have to work around each other. So it's kind of ugly. Could be better, but does it work? So it says press and hold 3 seconds before switching main battery switch. 1, 2, 3. That should pre-charge. The resistors. Solar, DC, and we have DC. Would you look at that? Okay, all right. I'm gonna turn this guy on.
I need to put this switch over here.
And that's on. Oh, it's alive. And I think this is gonna boot up in just a second. And we'll see, we need to change one little setting to say that we have 600 amp hours, but oh, that takes a while, I forgot. But that's it. And then I'm gonna use L brackets to hold these guys into place. I might just use 1, 2, 3, 1 on this to keep this going, and then maybe 1 in the center. I don't think those are gonna go too far. All right. Okay, well that's, it says off, it's not off. That's funny. Yeah, it says inverter on.
You need to hit that switch.
No, this is good. Also, this is where you can adjust and say I'd only want X amount of amps to come in. But, oh yeah, there it goes, inverting. Nothing exploded. Now go ahead and put all those brackets in. All right, got 2 brackets there with VHB. VHB is pretty good stuff. Got 1 here. I don't really want to put that one in there, but better than having that wiggle out. 1 there, and I couldn't get 1 over onto that side, but I did get 1 over there. So if this guy in the middle wiggles, I think it'll be mostly fine. I mean, they're not going to jump up. The VHB will hold them down. If that one in the middle moves, it's fine. That one over there will not move because it's VHB'd from, you know, 2 sides there. So yeah, I'm not worried about them jumping whatsoever. This VHB works really well. That's how we held, you know, using the same method. This is actually how we held, you know, the even bigger batteries, the sock batteries that we have, held those into the bus, and yeah, those held pretty well.
Yeah, we've done this in a couple different rigs now.
Yeah.
The
VHB and the L brackets. Yeah. Absolutely. So, hey, that's good. And so the setting that needs to be changed, we're going to go in here to the, you can see the shunt. And it's super, super easy. And I just changed it. So I'm going to go to the settings, battery, and you can see battery capacity. It's hard to tell on the GoPro. Battery capacity, 600 amps, amp hours rather. And then you can set that up and down, and you can type in a specific value. There we go. And we should be good. So we'll get these guys charging up, and yeah, I think we're all set. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you got some good information, or at least a little inspiration for your own set of upgrades. It really is not that complicated. In parallel, which is what these are wired in, they all remain 12 volt, right? Versus series, where they'll go up by 12, plus 12.8 volts each time, right? But parallel, it's all red goes to red, goes to red, goes to red. That's pretty straightforward. And then you just want to make sure that the positive is on one, and on the end of the loop, the negative is on the other. That's all there is to it. And then don't touch the red and black, or you'll get a nice spark. And also, maybe take out jewelry and then wear eye protection. So these come in handy. Yeah. Anything to add?
I'm a great assistant.
Yeah. I'll have somebody hand you the stuff because there's a couple things. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.